learner is valued and empowered to become a successful contributing member of society. Our mission to foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways for success. Mr. Moore, would you please call the roll?
Okay. Colonel Estelle, was she going to call in? Okay. Daniel Gray.
Here.
Ava Coleman.
Here.
Jim Moore. Ron McDaniel.
Present.
Dina Tony.
Here.
Lauren Martin.
Here.
Laura Walker. Not here. She'll be late. Okay.
All right. We do have a quorum. So if you will join me as we stand and observe a moment of silence followed by the pledge. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Colonel McDaniel. Appreciate that. My pleasure. Forgot to ask you. All right, first item we've got special presentation, schools for December. Dr. Owa.
Good evening, everyone. We have a few presentations for you tonight. We'll start with our guests with the Peer Network. They have a presentation, so we invite them to the podium, along with Dr. Walker.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're excited to come before you on tonight, and I have with me Mrs. Horn and Mrs. Hutchinson. Please join us up here. And this is our third year with Peer Network, and they support us in our school with our administrators. We have teacher leaders that they support, and they also help us look at our data. And as a part of looking at our data, they also recognize our efforts. And so on tonight, they're going to share a little bit about the presentation that we're going to receive, and it involves money. So that makes us very excited. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you, Dr. Walker. It is our pleasure to be with you. My name is Rachel Warren. I have with me your coach, Brandy Hardcastle from the Peer Network. Like Dr. Walker said, we have been working with your teachers and your school leaders for a number of years. And we are happy to be back this year with a recognition of the efforts that your teachers and school leaders have made. We are focused on a number of things. Good evening.
There you go.
Thank you. We are delighted to bring to you some of the accomplishments that your schools have made over their time with us. So there are a number of things that we look at. We look at things like academic growth in literacy and math. And our presentation to you tonight is specifically for your school's growth in the value-added growth score on the ESSA School Index. In addition to looking at data and setting goals, we work with your teacher leaders every quarter. We develop their competencies and evidence-based practices, and we work with your school leaders to implement those practices back in their buildings. We are very happy to let you know that also 2 of the teachers from your buildings have been recognized as Peer Teachers of the Month. We have Ms. Neosha Trammell from the middle school and also Alec Ramirez from the high school, and we are happy to recognize them tonight. Now, tonight's award is specifically for that growth score. And so tonight's amount is $81,500. But across all of the years that your schools have been working with us, this brings your total to $276,650 over our time together. And Dr. O, we'd love to have a picture again with you. And your board members, of course.
All right, come on.
As they're making their way down, I'm going to ask for all of the principals that are here tonight that are recipients to please come and be a part of the picture as well. If your school is listed, which is Ms. Gail Biggs from Jacksonville High School. We have Mita, Lindsay Jones, and Mr. Williams, and her teacher, Mrs. Reed. And she can join us along with Jacksonville Middle, Kenneth Miller, and Merle Taylor, Mrs. Howell. All right, count of three. 1, 2, 3. No flash. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for your company.
Our next presentation will come from Principal Biggs and our chefs and the head chefs and the young chef.
Good evening. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. As you know, we have our restaurant on campus, Simply Delicious, and these two ladies, or these three ladies, are the ones that are responsible for any weight gain I've experienced here. So, Chef Emmy keeps going, no calories, only love. I'm like, okay, tell my clothes that. But anyway, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and they do have a presentation.
Please.
Hi, I'm Takaya Martin. I'm a student in the culinary program, and they're my chefs. So, yeah.
My name is Evie Lam. I'm studying culinary.
Chef Regina Cornish, I'm the baking chef.
The guy has something he'd like to propose to the board.
Okay. I'd like to propose this gift to Mr. Daniel Gray. It's a envelope with letters we've hand wrote for your family and everything. And we just wanted to show you and let you know how much we appreciate everything your aunt has done for us and given us the opportunity to have.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Very sweet.
One of the things she left out, and so I just kind of tossed this to her tonight. So, and that is, we would like to hang Miss Price's picture in the restaurant with your family's permission and with the board's permission to honor her for her contribution to the culinary program.
Thank you very much. Very sweet, and on behalf of my Uncle Bob and I know my Uncle Bart and my dad, I know they'll be very honored and very appreciative of this, and thank y'all very, very much.
Dr. Walker.
Okay, we have several presentations. We're going to start off with our school presentations with our data. And I have with us Brandon Powell will be presenting along with our Jacksonville Elementary School. Mr. Howard and Mrs. Powell, you are welcome to the park. And then Mr. McGinty, if you have the data presentation in front of you for Merle Taylor, but we can easily put it on the screen if needed, and I can have a hard copy. Yeah. I'll log in that way you want. Do I need a mic? Or I can hear my teacher's voice?
If you would, please, for the online stuff.
Sure.
Are you going to dance tonight too?
I
Rap?
will
No rap?
I will do it. Ready?
I've already heard there's schools practicing already for next year,
This
so.
is serious matter.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Ola and President Gray and board members. It is a privilege to stand before you this evening to share some data.
I did get excited.
Okay. It's a privilege to stand before you today to share some data as it relates to Merle Taylor. I'm going to go on to the next slide. So as you can see on the screen and in the packet, I wanted to just show a growth trend at Taylor, starting in the 18-19 school year before COVID. Our overall ESSA growth score, overall ESSA score is 56.22. And then COVID happened, and obviously there was a dip. And then in the COVID year is not even on there, but in 2020 and 21, there was a dip, and I wasn't the principal there. I will say that. But since I've been there, we have grown, and we're continuing to grow. So we are trending upward, and I'm proud for that because, as you know, consistency in leadership is very important. And it's important for our scholars, it's important for our staff members, it's important to let the team members know that the leadership believes in them. And I absolutely love my team. I love my students. I love my school. It's a blessing to be able to drive through every day and see my beautiful new building that's being built thanks to you all. And it changed the culture of Taylor. I will say that. And if you haven't been there, you should just come because it is a breath of fresh air. It really and truly is. And so it is a privilege to work with my team and my students each and every day. So as a school, we are going in the right direction. We are improving with our ESSA score overall. Obviously, we have lots of work to do, but we are working diligently each and every day. We are analyzing data. We are breaking that data down. We are doing several things to make sure that we get our scholars where we need. And so I hate that report goes out because people think that is an F, but there is so much that goes into it every day and trying to meet the whole child. And so we're doing that each and every day. And so our goal this year is to grow and exceed 5%. That way we can not be an F anymore, and we are going to do it. And so the data here is our MAP data. And so we compared our MAP data, which is NWEA. We take that assessment 3 times a year. And looking at the 22-23 school year is the blue, and the 23-24 school year is the red, which is this school year. And this is the beginning of the year data. So just looking at where we started last year and this year, it's tremendous growth. And what I did was, I realized we got to play the long game. So really trying to get out of that F is going to take some work, and it's not going to happen overnight. And I figured, okay, we got to get the foundation right. So I made some people unhappy. I moved some teachers around because, my kindergarten, first and second grade teachers, they have to have those foundational skills. If they do not, then we're creating bigger gaps. And so I had to move some teachers. I wasn't very popular, but it was necessary. And the proof is there. I needed my rock stars to be in K1 and 2. And that's pressure. That's pressure, but it's necessary because if our students are leaving kindergarten, first and second grade on grade level, then once they get to third grade and they take that assessment, we don't have students who will have those gaps. We don't have students that we now may have to retain once, now that the LEARNS Act is in effect. And so we were very strategic about that. And you can see the difference. So we're making sure that our scholars are getting what they need in those foundational grades. And obviously the pressure's still on for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but it's really those foundational skills that are so necessary. And so, I thought that was really great to see the difference in the grade levels. And, I challenged my teachers and told them, and if you come in my building, you can see that we have some incentives, and every scholar in kindergarten, first and second grade, they need to have mastered some skills, those foundational skills. They need to know every letter and the sounds that it makes. They need to know multisyllabic words. They need to know those long vowels and those CVC words. And once they do, they get an incentive. I can't tell you what it is because I'm not supposed to do it, but whatever it takes to get them to know it. And so, but if you come into our building, you will see that we are working hard. And so I thought that was certainly something to celebrate for our students. And so we had more scholars who started the school year on grade level than last year. And so that's something to celebrate. So we're trending upwards. And so just some celebrations. Our overall score is going up. We won the district convocation 2 years in a row. We're going to win it again. So all you schools, JES, don't come for us because listen, this is not a game. It's very serious. We had the most growth in the entire district on our ESSA score overall. And so, that's exciting. We celebrated 117 scholars who met their grade level ready for instruction today for the beginning of the year assessment. And that was very exciting. In order to support Jacksonville Reads, we had a one school, one book celebration where every scholar got the book. They read it at home with their parents. We read each chapter. We asked them questions. We posted it on Dojo. We had a lot of great feedback from our families and communities. And so that was to help support our district's initiative with Jacksonville Reads, and we're going to do it again in the spring. We now have a PTA, which was it's definitely been a feat, but it is something that was very much needed, and we got it up and running. And we had our first fall festival since I've been there. We made over $2,000, so that was great. And just every day our vision is becoming a reality as we see the progress of our new school. And so that's all I have.
I love that enthusiasm.
You're a great motivator.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My voice carries, so is it on? Yeah. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing tonight? I shall say that Merle Taylor will not win next year because we started practicing the day after. All right, so this is JES's data snapshot. All right, so this is our reading data for fall 2023. And so what it shows is our student growth and achievement. Now it shows that most of our scholars are in need of support and close, but to me, that's a wonderful thing because that means we have room to grow. So to close the achievement gap, what we're doing, we're working on honing in on the necessary skills. So getting them those tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. And we literally change our Titan Time plan every week because we want to tailor it to what the scholars' needs are. And we want them to become the best version of themselves. And so our entire school moves every day at 9:35, the entire school. So 800 kids move to a different classroom or a different area in the school so that they can get those interventions that they need because we do see such a high need. And so we review our Titan Time plan weekly to ensure that, okay, this scholar needs to move to this group because they graduated out of this group into this next group. So we want them to get to that ready and exceeding stage, and we know that they can because they are making great strides. There have been so many different changes, so many amazing things going on at JES this year. The kids are willing to do the work. The teachers are willing to do the work. I don't think I've ever worked with a group of adults who are willing to do what is necessary for the scholars. And I believe that comes because I'm willing to do what's necessary for the scholars. And so they're willing to do that work as well. This is our middle of the year learning required data. I wanted to include this because the beginning of the year data wasn't so hot. It didn't look so well. But again, this is just a testimony to what our teachers are willing to do. They are willing to do what it takes to make sure that JES is that school. They are willing to do what it takes to ensure that our scholars are leveling up. And so I did walkthroughs with Dr. Picard, Mr. McGrew, Ms. Abdullah. And so we had a 15% increase in the use of high quality instructional materials. And I've learned that you kind of need to explain what a high quality instructional material is and which resources you can utilize. Because I realized that some teachers were utilizing resources that didn't go along with the curriculum, and that got them a no. And so just explaining what those high quality instructional materials are and then the resources that go along with those materials, I think lended itself to increase in our beginning of the year data. Also, our grade level essentials, 23% increase from the beginning of the year. Not teaching last year's standards, we're teaching what we're supposed to be teaching right now. We're teaching grade level standards in tier 2 and tier 3. That's when we're going to close that achievement gap. We're going to focus on those skills that they may have missed out on. But just ensuring that teachers are teaching what they're supposed to be teaching each and every day. And then celebration. So this is my favorite part. So last year we had about 1,700 office referrals, behavior referrals from August to May, 1,700. This year we've only had 168 office referrals in 5 months. I I attribute that to our token economy. So we started a Titan store, and so scholars can earn $300 a week just from having good behavior. They can earn money from their core teachers, from their special teachers, and from administrators and other staff in the building. And so they can use those $300 to purchase things. And so we have a game room that costs $1,000. So they have to be on par for an entire month to even purchase the game room.
Inflation is real.
No, Dr. Walker came over. I told her that we have a book vending machine. She said, "How much are the books?" I said, $70. She said, "That's too low." So now a book is $300. And so, but we have about 50 scholars who have achieved that $1,000 threshold and are waiting to attend the game room. So they earn those $300 and they can use those Titan books to purchase in our store from our book vending machine, and they can also, like I said, purchase to go to the game room during the recess time. Behavior has decreased tremendously because they want that money. They really honestly want it. And fun fact, we have to actually change it from paper money to digital money because some fifth graders figured out I can take this home and copy it and pass it out. So now we have they have digital accounts now because they figured out how to get us. But again, our behavior has tremendously decreased. Today, no one came into the office. Not one kid came to the office today. And so we've also implemented positive office referrals because we do want to highlight scholars who are doing what they're supposed to. And so we've received about 65 positive office referrals at the time that I created this PowerPoint. Some of our celebrations, we had over 100 scholars with perfect attendance in the first 9 weeks. I did a perfect attendance incentive, and they were with me for 2 hours. Just me, by myself, for 2 hours. And so I'm going to tweet that next time because 100 kids, Mr. Howard, one person, 2 hours. I was cleaning, and yeah, it was crazy. Our partnership with City Year is making great strides towards closing the achievement gap. And I'm so thankful for City Year because with the school the size of JES, you need those extra hands. And they are pulling their groups and moving around, and they're under the stairs with their groups. They're we have those under the stairs. We created office spaces under there. They're under the stairs, on the stage. They're outside. They're doing whatever it takes so that they can control so they can lessen those gaps. They work with them with behavior and on social and emotional needs. And also, we're working on our after-school program to further support the needs of our scholars in grades 3 through 5. That starts in January. We have 60 slots, and we've received about 40 of our invitations back. So we have 20 slots left, and I'm working to fill those as well. Thank you.
You're teaching financial literacy, so that's good. Mr. McDaniel had asked, if you cut that off. I'm going to use mine. Oh, I think it's going. Mr. McDaniel had asked if we do a quick presentation on Jacksonville Reads. So what I did was I presented you with a hard copy of that. And if you would like a digital copy, I can certainly get you a digital copy. But in your packet on Jacksonville Reads, and it tells you what the vision is, which is just Jacksonville Reads, and then what the mission, and then we have 3 goals. And the 3 goals is to promote adult literacy, and Dr. Picard has that particular group, and Mr. McDaniel is a very active member of that group. And then we have supporting birth to 5 years literacy, and that is Mrs. Darrington, who leads that group along with other members of her team. And I'm responsible to oversee promoting reading growth and opportunities by creating and becoming more involved in before, after, and summer programs. So for each one of those goals, you can see what's coming up, some of the activities that have already taken place. And one of the videos that I will show you tonight comes from Dr. Picard's group with the adult literacy. And Mr. McDaniel had requested that we show this video. In a world that values the power of knowledge, there are still parents who face the challenge of illiteracy. Being unable to read is nothing to be ashamed of. The Jacksonville Read Guiding Coalition is here to break the barriers that have held some of you back for too long. If you want to be able to read a bedtime story to your child or fill out important documents, we are here to help. We are offering free literacy classes to all JNPSD parents and employees who struggle with reading. And the best part is, it's all confidential. Call the Pinewood Professional Development Center at 501 457 5051 and ask for Dr. P. Together, we'll explore the world of words and stories, and we'll build a strong foundation for your future.
And of course, Shisa was the one who was able to support us in making that video. And thanks to Dr. P for having the insight to put that together for the group one. This is our last presentation, but before I move into that, I would just like to ask Mr. McDaniel if you have anything you wanted to share.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to know that that video is on our website.
Yes, it's on our social media page, yes, and our website. And we are accepting calls.
We've had some positive feedback.
Yes, from the video, yes, sir, positive feedback. So hopefully you get more.
Thank you.
This is the last presentation, and this is on the Jacksonville Legacy Walk. You have in front of you two forms. You all have requested that we take a moment and to review over this and come up with a rubric and then come up with some type of form where individuals could be nominated. So if you look at the very first one, Jacksonville Legacy Walk Commemorative Wall, and this is the criteria for the nominees. I can put it on the screen, but most of you should have it in front of you. And so if you want to take a few moments, you can look at that. This is the Google Doc. This is the doc that as individuals, when we post it, will fill out to make their nomination. But we wanted you to take a look, have a moment to take a look, and if there are any changes or anything you would like for us to add, we would be able to do that before we post it on the actual site. And then the second one is the rubric. And the rubric will guide in the scoring of those individuals, and the guidelines for the nomination period is on here. If we have more than one nominee for that period, what we could possibly do. So if you want to take time to read over this and bring it back next month, we can do that. Or you can take a moment now and look, just whatever you feel like you would like to do. So if you look at the very bottom, it talks about that the process would be conducted on a quarterly basis, providing 4 opportunities each year for individuals to submit their nominee. And then on that second page, it tells you the time frame in which nominations would be accepted. And that gives the board time in between there to look and come together to review all of the nominations that you all received.
I think we mentioned in the planning meeting, so if you'll take a look at the nomination period, January 1st through February 1st is when we would accept nominations. And then hopefully you guys could make a decision by the 15th, so that we can, honor that person correctly, and then start the nomination process for the next open period.
We talked about that. I mean, there could be multiple award winners or persons memorialized at one time initially. I don't think we set a number. I think, I assume there'll be several to start with, and then as it moves forward, it'll probably split out a little bit. But
And I don't think we listed a number.
I don't think
So
we.
we didn't, so it's not.
So we could vary from nomination period to
Yeah, there could
nomination
be
period.
one
3,
person,
right.
or there could be 5 people awarded.
if you all have any changes to the form that you would like for us to make, we can do that. And once you all decide if this is what you were looking for, then we can move ahead and post it.
Thank y'all very much. It's great work, and I think it's a great start, and we can start receiving nominations in January, or,
Yes.
right?
If you guys are okay with that Google form, then January 1, we can start sending it out, or provide hard copies as well. Because, some people, they're not really tech savvy, or they are afraid of computers. So
I figure if somebody wants to get somebody on there, they're gonna figure out how to.
they'll
Get 'em
figure it out,
nominated.
yes. So just however you guys want us to post that and publicize it.
Thank y'all very much. Appreciate the work put in on that.
Thank you.
All right. Is that it for presentation, sir?
It is.
And legal update, I don't see Scott here. We don't have a legal update this evening. And the facilities update, on behalf of the board, I think we had a great tour of Biomeda and Merle Taylor, and also the future Titan Academy, ALE, yeah. So that was good. So we appreciate that, and we decided to give Baldwin and Shell and WER and Dr. Stein the night off. So had a great report there. Legacy Walk, we just covered that. So next we've got the superintendent's report.
I'll be brief because of the number of presentations we have, but wanted to just give the board an update with the Children's Protection Center. The center has decided, the leadership and the board there have decided that they wanted to start sooner than later, so that we could bring those services to Jacksonville. And so what they shared with us in the steering committee is that they would like to start with phase one. And phase one would be the section behind us. They will go ahead, and it could start as early as this week. They will wall us off and then start the construction behind us. And so I just wanted to share that with you all, that by the start of next year, we'll definitely, by the next board meeting, we'll definitely see some changes behind us, but that should not disrupt any of the work that our staff is doing here on a day-to-day basis, nor when we meet as a board. Any questions?
Where are they gonna wall off from? The post?
No, sir. Probably from
There'll be a hallway
right here down, and then there'll be a door right here,
Okay,
and then that way you
come in. Okay, thank you.
Good.
that concludes my report.
Very good, sir. All right, next item we've got is the consent agenda. Got the minutes of the November 6th assistant superintendent's reports, and also the financial report. Does anything need to be pulled down for discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item we've got is legal transfer requests.
Yes, board, we have one legal transfer request in front of you. Scholar would like to leave JNPSD and go to Cabot. Actually, she was never a student. The parent thought she was moving to a Cabot address, but it turns out it's a Cabot address, but it turns out it's in Jacksonville city limits. And so she's requesting that legal transfer. And so we the recommendations to approve this legal transfer.
All right, is there anybody here to speak against that or for that? All right, we've got a recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item we've got is the termination of services for ESS.
Yes, ESS is our substitute teacher and other staff company that we utilize to fill vacancies when our employees are absent from school. They have struggled the past few years to provide subs for those vacancies, and so we would like to venture out and explore other sub companies that are available that have a better track of filling sub positions. But in order for us to consider that, we have to provide notice and a board action 120 days before the end of the school year to be able to move forward. And so that's the recommendation, is to be able to approve the termination of the ESS contract and explore other sub-agencies for the 24-25 school year.
All right, we've got a recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item we have is personnel. Before we've got an addendum here before you, so I would entertain a motion to add the addendum to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of adding the addendum to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. And as before we vote on anything, we've got our annual personnel report required for the superintendent's contract evaluation, and that will be held in executive session. So I'm going to move that we adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing the superintendent's evaluation. Please join us. All right, we'll be back. I know it.
I wanna see this.
That's why I brought them. All right. Call the meeting back to order. We have got an addendum and the personnel report before us. And the recommendation is to approve as presented. Is that right? Is that correct? All right. So do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. All right, the executive session on superintendent's contract evaluation, I will report that we have the greatest superintendent in the state. Hands down. Yeah, in the nation. So we appreciate you, and we will continue to work on the rules and the contract and all that stuff in the next month, and be ready to approve that in January as we go. All right. Okay. Thank you. Very good. All right. So that concludes that portion of the program, the meeting, whatever it is. Student disciplinary actions. All right. That should be in your folders. Oh, you did?
Mr. Gray, and just a reminder that these student hearing packets are uncontested, so you all can review all of them and make one vote.
Okay, I think I got it out of my folder though. Is it FY24? First one?
How many are there?
6.
It's in December.
12?
This is number one.
So they're all uncontested. We don't have to do them individually. We could do them all together if there's no objection. So moved. That's all right, got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation for all of the expulsions that are non-contested. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, that concludes everything I've got on the agenda except for number 11, which is adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
And board members, Ms. Terry Williams is here. She has a guest that she want to bring up and introduce after the board meeting.
Come on down.